Hi, my name is Lauren Parrish, and I'm going to be talking about guns in schools. So would you trust your prior teachers with your life? If they had the right to have a gun in their classroom, you would have to. I don't feel teachers are the right people to ask to defend a whole group, especially with a gun, because that's not something that is in their job description. So it won't happen to me is a common expression used in an article in 2023 school shootings this year, how many and where, said that there were 37 that caused death or serious injury. And I'm assuming that those 37 schools probably didn't think it would happen to them either. So I've grown up with this problem. I'm 19. When I was in high school, it was something I was a little scared of because it was becoming relevant and pretty common. I've done a lot of research on the topic just because it is something that I was wanting to know more about and like how we can help it. So today I'll provide reasons as to why guns won't help in school settings. So first, the problem with teachers and guns. Second, I'll offer a solution to increase safety for schools. And lastly, I'll compare it with and without my solution. So now you know what we're learning, let's dive into the problem, which is school shootings. So a 17-year-old from Florida named David Hogg was in a school shooting who survived, but he has had to deal with a lot of trauma from it. So he was in science class and he heard the first shot and they went into a lockdown, and then the fire alarm was pulled from the shooter. So a lot of classrooms fled, and from that point on, 17 were shot and killed. And this is just very traumatic for him, and he felt a lot of anger, sadness, but also passion to fix the issue. So although he survived, a part of him was left in the classroom. In 2018, he said, "These are people's kids. They've poured all their love, everything they could ever give into these kids, and it's been taken by one piece of metal and bled onto the floor." So this just goes to show that it's a very serious thing, and families lose members of like their family forever. So in 2023, thousands had the same story. In an article by the Public School Review in 2023, they said that the high school average was 2,040 kids, and with 37 schools, that means 75,000 kids experienced a school shooting just this year. And that doesn't include teachers, families, friends, and other neighboring schools that were affected by it. So more guns just simply means more violence. Teachers can't be expected to pass all the tests that would be required of them, like psychiatric, licensing, approval, and just general schooling to become a teacher. And then some attention needs to be put on students in a gun environment, because I don't think students should be trusted with a gun in the room because they're still young, they're learning right and wrong, especially in like elementary schools. Okay, so after looking at the results of the survey, it seemed like you guys were unsure if it would be a good or bad idea to have a gun in the classroom. So the first question I asked was when you graduated high school, to see like the relevance to you, and the average answer was 2 years. Then I asked if you felt safe in high school, and the answer was mostly yes, which is good. And then I asked if you would trust your prior teachers with your lives, to which it was pretty much split down the middle, 50-50. And then I asked if you would have felt safer in class if there was a gun in the room, to which 67% said yes, they would. So I believe majority would reconsider trusting or feeling safer with a gun in the classroom after hearing what I have to say. So I think the solution here should be safety on the buildings, making them better secure so a shooter can't get in. There are many solutions to this, like mental health, all of that kind of stuff. But this is one of the most realistic and easiest ways to see change quickly and soon. So if the threat is outside and you're in lockdown, students are inside, teachers are inside, nothing more can really happen from that point if the threat can't get indoors. So to make it safer, I would add security locks, cameras, training like lockdown, fire drill procedures, monitor computers to see if students are Googling something that could indicate a bad decision, having police on school grounds, and giving students tags to get in the buildings. So schools getting the money, I think the government should fund a good majority of the security that would be needed. Because they would have to, if they chose to allow guns in the classrooms, they would have to pay for all of that and the licensing and training that goes into that. So it'd be probably more if they did that. So in general, a safer school equals a better United States. The shootings have taken a major toll on the nation, so I want to get that 75,000 much closer to zero. So at this point, we should just try what we can because the numbers continue to increase. So another benefit would be that the students can actually focus on school and not the shootings, not surviving, because when a person is in survival mode, they're not going to be able to do much more than just try and survive. So that means less academic, which is just like an example of Maslow's hierarchy of needs, just having that basic ground to improve yourself even more. So the survey showed a pretty good trust in your guys' past, but I will show that not everyone can be trusted in two ways. So the expression "don't talk to strangers," I think teachers are just barely above strangers to most students. They have their own set of problems we don't know, and I don't think finding it out because they have a gun in their room and I don't think that's the best way to figure out that they have something wrong with them. So it's kind of like saying adults that have bosses, like if they have a gun in their office, that's going to affect the comfortability and relationships just throughout that office, because the staff could be thinking like, what if he gets fired and loses it or something, like he has a gun. And people who have power often seek more power, and that is something that could be influenced. So teachers have problems, so I don't think we should ever trust them with our lives unless we really know them. So now let's look at solutions being implemented versus not being implemented. So, school shootings continue to increase, then that will continue a negative effect on the United States. At some point, if they continue to increase, we're going to become pretty numb to them and less willing to make change. They could also start to bleed into normal life things like grocery store shootings and just library shootings, just random places other than school. There's going to be more mourning. A lot of people are going to lose more people. In an article called "Grief: Coping with the Loss of Your Loved Ones," it says that mourning takes a month to years for to get to terms with. So with a safer world, the community, nation, happiness goes much higher up because people are able to send their children to school safely. A stress factor is removed from a family, and thousands of lives are saved, which is great. So the goal is to prevent instead of trying to stop it in the moment, because that is still a traumatic experience. In 2021, author Lebeau says that trauma changes how you see yourself, it increases depression, and all sorts of bad things. So if we enhance safety, it just means we get a better world. So now I'm going to go over everything I've covered. So the problem with school shootings, first, school shootings have no end in sight. Second, the solution is better security, seeing a world improve. The U.S. has lacked efforts to stop school shootings. So start change, give life to those who have had them stripped because of it. Enforce security, stops anything before it starts. More guns hurts more. If you want your children, nieces, and nephews to grow old, then I suggest giving them a safe childhood, starting with their education.